Greetings, friend. Timberlake here. This is my month of Sudoku. Today I have a treat for you. This is going to be a no-mark solve. This is Enthralling Sudoku number 11 from Ashish Kumar's book, Enthralling Sudoku. I highly recommend the book. I'll put a link below on how you can purchase the book and review it. I've put a few other of Ashish's Sudoku puzzles on here. We did a collaboration. Great setter, great author, a great solver as well. Check out his channel, Enthralling Sudoku and Puzzles. When you get a chance, I love watching his videos along with Kishore. And in this one, I picked this one because of how cool this looked. And it is still going to be relatively easy, but I wanted to kind of showcase some strategies and logic you can use and do this as a no-mark solve. In the book, Ashish has Kota Morinishi solve all these puzzles. He's a world champion Sudoku solver, 4-time world champion, and Kota solves this puzzle in like a little bit over 2 minutes. I'm not going to solve that fast, but I will show you, what you can do to kind of solve these. And with that, it's solving time. So what I find of interest in this one is count. Since they have these little blocks, count how many of the different candidates are here. Digits are here, so we kind of know what to look for. So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. So there's a decent amount of ones to look for, right? Twos, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3, there's only 1 3. Probably not going to be looking too much for the 3s. A 4, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 4s, 1, 2 5s. 6s, you have 1, 2, 3. And I can see there's a place where we can solve a 6. So I'll make that right now. See how there's 6 in column 2, 3, and row 8. So we'll just make that as a 6. 7s, you have 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, but you can notice with these 7s in column 7 and 9, we can solve that first 7 pretty easy, right? And then with the 8, you have an 8 here, 1, 2, 3, and again, they're restricting this block 9. So 8 in row 7 and 9, and column 9 means there's only one place left for an 8. Move on to 9s, you have 1, 2 9s, but they're restricting block 7 pretty well, so that's going to be a 9. So right there, just by looking at the different cells and counting how many we were able to just solve some of those digits pretty quickly. The other thing to notice about this puzzle and what you're going to see is you have like these pointing pairs that are going to take out an entire entire column or row from one of these blocks. So in this case, you have the 8 and the 6 coming up here. Well, the 8 and 6 can't be in these 3 spots. The 8 and 6 have to be there. So we know this is a 6-8 naked pair. We're just going to keep track of that in our brain. You have a 2 and a 6 here, 6 coming across. Well, 6 can be just right there. So this 6 is kind of a pointing pair. So 6s won't be in any other spot in this row. Okay? Other ones we'll look at 7 and 9. There's no 7 and 9 in here, so 7 and 9 can't be in these spots. This is going to be a 7-9 hidden pair. And then a 1 and a 2, 2 coming across. So this 2 is going to be a pointing pair. And what else? 1 6. 1 6 are both in these spots, so we can't use that logic for that 1 6 going right there. But you see the 6 coming across. 6 is going to be one of those spots, pointing pair. And what else do we have? A 1 coming down here. So that means the 1s are limited to one of these spots here in row 7. Okay, so let's move on and let's actually do some solving here. So what's kind of the next spot that we're seeing? I would think that also we notice you have like the 4 coming across here, so there's a 4 pointing down. So this 4 goes across row 4, right? It means that 4 has to be in one of these spots in column 3. So 4 can't be there, 4 can't be in row 8, so this is going to be a 4. Nice, so we can solve that. All right, do you see any other type restrictions like that? Let's kind of cut across, what are the 3 cells remaining here? A 1, 2, 3, and a 5, right? I wonder if there's a way that we can solve any of those and kind of create more of a restriction for us. Well, yeah, so we have a 1 coming down, column 3 and column 1, so that means that has to be a 1. So now what we have coming across here is 2, 3, and a 5. And what's nice right here is you see there's a 2 right here, column 1. No 2, 3, 5 that way, and you have a 2 and a 5 right there. You're going to see this pattern so many times. So you have 3 cells remaining, and one of them, 2 of them, can't be 2 of them. So we know another one has one of those. So we can solve all 3 of these cells at the same time, right? Since this can't be a 2 or 5, that has to be a 3. Since this can't be a 2, that has to be 5, and then that has to be your 2. I think we might see some more of these as we move forward with the puzzle. Now we have a full house. We only need to solve one more, so we'll solve that for a 3. Nice. And what you'll see here is the 3 and the 9 come up column 3. So 3 and 9 have to be in one of these 2 spots. Okay? And so if the 3 and 9 has to be in one of these 2 spots, we're going to be able to solve right here. You can see 5, 5. That's going to be a 5. And then we know that this is going to be a 4, 7, or an 8. But we can't solve whether that's going to be a 4, 7, or 8 just yet. Okay. Now let's move on here. Let's look across the bottom. So what are you missing? A 1, 2, and a 5. Well, guess what? I can see a 1 and a 1 right there. So that has to be your 1. And then you see there's a 2 right here. So that's going to be a 5, and that's going to be your 2. So you had the 1, 2 there. You had the 1 there. And you had the 2, 5 there. So we're still use that. We can still solve all 3 right at one time. I love seeing that. I love seeing that. Okay. Now let's see of what we've added here. What other kind of solves can we make? All right, so we have a 7 coming up column 7, a 7 coming across row 2. That means the 7 is limited to one of these 2 spots in block 3 in row 1. So it's limited. It has to be in row 1 here in block 3. So if that's a 7 coming across row 1 and a 7 across row 2, and this 7 coming up, that means that has to be a 7. Right? Okay, so now we've been able to solve 7, and then we're seeing we have 3 spots remaining. If you remember, let's see here, 3, 9 right there. So this is 2, 3, 9. Okay, so we can't solve that part just yet. All right. So let's look at, I'm looking here, see, okay, what are these 3 cells we're missing? It's going to be a 1, 3, and 5. We don't have enough to solve that yet. And what are these 3 cells we're missing? A 2, a 4, and a 6. Well, you see there's 2 2s there. So we can solve that for a 2. You see the 4. That's a 6, and that's a 4. And the same thing, right? We had 2 of the missing candidates right here, 1 of the missing candidates right there. So we can solve all 3 of them at one time. Love it. All right. And so we remember that a 6 has to be in one of these spots here. The 6 is now right there, so it can't be in column 7 or column 8. We have a 6 across row 2, so that has to be a 6. And then as I'm creating more restrictions, I'm going to look and see, what can I solve by the restriction that I just created, right? So in this case, what are we missing in column 9? We're missing a 7 and a 9. Well, we have a 7 up there in row 2. That's your 7, or that's your 9, that's your 7. Okay, good. And now we have a 7 and a 7. This has to be a 7. And then a 9 and a 9, so this has to be your 9, right? And what are these? And then we have, a full house right here, so we might as well just solve that for 3 while we're at it. What do we have remaining right here? You have a 1, 3, and a 6. We can't solve that just yet. What do you have remaining up here? You have a 4, 5, and an 8, which we can't solve just yet. But we've made a lot more progress. So we have a 3 and a 3, so we know this has to be your 3. 3 and a 3 means this has to be your 3. And the further we go along this puzzle, the quicker it's going to be to solve. We're missing a 2 and a 9 along column 2. You can see there's a 9 already in row 2. So that's your 2, that's your 9. And remember, because that 9 and 3, 9 had to be right there, we can solve that. What's remaining up here? We're looking for a 4 and an 8. There's your 4. So there's your 8, there's your 4. Nice. Come across here, we need a 2 and a 5. I see a 2 right there. So that's your 5, that's your 2. And then what are we missing right here? A 3. Nope, we have a 3. We're missing a 5 and an 8. There's your 5. So the 5's got to be in block 2, row 2, and then we can solve our 8. Oh, one cell remaining there in block 3. Great. So now we've kind of did this outside bit. I wonder what we can do to solve the inside. And I can tell you something kind of unique here. Look at this very center block. You can't be a 1, it can't be a 2, it can't be a 3, it can't be a 4, it can't be a 5. It could be a 6, but it can't be a 7, an 8, or a 9. So that has to be a 6. Nice. So right there you have a naked single, but you got to pull from 4 different blocks in order to get that. That's a very hard naked single to find, but I think that's what we're going to need to do to kind of make more progress in this puzzle, because now you have a 6, 6 there. That's going to be a 6. 1 come across row 5 means that has to be your 1, that has to be your 3. All right, and now you have, let's now look across down these items and see if there's more that we can solve based on that. So 6, 6, 6. What are we missing right here? 8 and a 9. You can see there's an 8 already in column 6, so that's your 8 and that's your 9. Now 9, 9, 9, 9. All right, there we can solve our 9. Any other restrictions that we can make some quick eliminations with? Let's see. Why don't we kind of cross row 5 here? What's missing? We're missing a 4 and we're missing a 7, right? Oh, we actually can't even solve that yet. How interesting. No worries. What are we missing right here? 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. Can't do that yet. Okay, what are we missing right here? You're missing your 4, 7, 8. Still got the 4, 7, 8. All right, so I believe that we're going to have a restriction from coming down from one of these other cells. But what is that restriction going to look like? It's not the 3s. It's not the 1s. Is it the 2s? Yes. So 2, 2, 2, 2 means this has to be a 2. All right, that's going to help start making the restrictions I was looking for. All right, now let's look across row 4, and we're missing a 1, a 7, and an 8. So you got a 1 here and a 1 here, so that has to be your 1, and there's already a 7 in column 4, so that's 8. That's your 7. Okay, now 7 and a 7 means this is your 7. We can finish off row 5. We can finish off block 4, and hopefully you can kind of see, where we're going with the rest of this puzzle, right? So let's fill out this part first. We're going to do 1, 3, and 5. See, there's your 1, 5, and there's your 1. So just by knowing what these 3 digits are, we can solve the rest of row 7 there. So right, so that has to be your 3, that has to be your 5, and that has to be your 1. And then we can do the same thing right here. 3, 4, 5. I see a 5 and a 4, and I see a 4. So we know that's your 3, that's your 5, that's your 4. Sudoku solved. Very fun. I love the way the starting grid looked. That's one of the reasons why I like handmade classics versus just computer-generated puzzles, because they look cool and they'll create kind of an intended solve path for you. Hopefully you saw how the intended solve path worked. You saw how we could solve 3 cells at one time. Thank you so much, Ashish, for letting me feature these puzzles on your channel. Please come back every day in February. Get a new video from me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this with someone you think would love watching Sudoku. Check out these other videos. In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching.